We'll be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Tuesday wherever you are today, and glad you're here with us on Story Time. Thank you for joining in, and as always, please let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Baby Bea and Amanda, I see you early through the door. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today, and welcome. And today we bring back a favorite here on Story Time, and this one is called A is for Activist, and it is written and illustrated by Innosanto Nagara, and of course it's most popular in its board book form. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope you're ready for A is for Activist. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning and welcome. I hope you're ready for today's story. Thank you so much for joining in, and like we said, this week we'll be looking back at some amazing books, just celebrating Eid, which was yesterday, and of course Sunday, and of course May Day as well, and that's why we're reading A's for Activists today as the struggle continues. And of course we're going to be looking at sights and sounds of spring, and of course as well just enjoying stories here together and enjoying community. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time, and welcome. Get comfortable, get cozy, as we'll be getting started very shortly. But before then, let's see who is with us here today on Story Time, ready to enjoy a wonderful story indeed. Good morning to you and welcome. How are you doing, Amanda and Baby Bea? Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. I love it that you're here with us in very cloudy Seattle today. Well, thank you for joining in. I hope that those clouds go away soon. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, B is for Bea. Good morning to you and welcome to Story Time. But you know what? B is also for Bowden. Yay! Good morning to you, Bowden, and Chris and Mitchell Adams. Thank you so much for joining us out in Vermont. And say this one is our all-time favorite books. Excited to be here with you all. Well, thank you so much. Excited to be here with you indeed. Thank you for joining us. It is indeed our favorite, this one. Thank you for being here and for sharing that little bit of information. Thank you for being here, Bea, Bowden, and Chris and Mitchell Adams. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime out in Vermont. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you, Ali Amin. How are you doing today? And of course, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us, and say good morning from Washington. Feeling better today after strawberry Eid cake. Oh my goodness. Can I reach out through here and just get some cake as well? Thank you so much for joining in. That makes me hungry, extra hungry, even more so than I was feeling earlier. Thank you so much for joining in, and happy Eid to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, like with all the community prayers and everything else that goes with that, the new clothes, I hope you got to enjoy that as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. And of course, thank you for teaching us a little bit about Eid yesterday. Thank you for being here, Ali Amin, and of course, Jessica. Appreciate you out in Seattle as well, in Washington. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. Yes, E is for Eid. And how about J? J is for Jessica. And about A? A is for Ali Amin. Yay! Good morning to you, Pamela, Courtney. How are you doing today? Braylon and Chad from Nakitash, Louisiana. Thank you so much for joining in today. And it is muggy out there. Thank you so much for joining in. I enjoy the morning today. Good morning to you, Braylon and Chad. And of course, Pamela, Courtney. Appreciate you, sending you love. Hugs indeed. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. B also for Braylon. We have a lot of B's here. C for Chad. Yay. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? Sarah and Nathan in cloudy and wet Illinois. Thank you for being here. We have a special guest, Sparky the Chihuahua, who is listening while his parents welcome a new baby boy to the world. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that. It sounds like a great party out there in Illinois. Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning to you, Sparky. Thank you for being here. Indy is avoiding him, but listening to the story. Well, welcome, Indy, as always. Storytime's favorite cat right there. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. I is for Indy. Good morning, and welcome. Miss Ingrid, we've missed you here on Storytime. Good to see you back. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today? And you say, good morning, everyone. So happy to be here and share Storytime today. Well, we're glad you're here and hope everything is going well at the Reading Club, of course. Thank you so much for joining in. Good to see you out in Patagonia, Argentina. Thank you so much for being here with us. Absolutely appreciate you. Kazadan Smile, how are you doing out in Taiwan? Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you are well. Thank you indeed. All the way out in Taipei. What time is it out there right now? Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, good night is more appropriate for you, but of course we have a story to read together before then. Thank you so much for joining in. Sheba Chanda, how are you doing out in Lusaka, Zambia? Always a pleasure to see you here. And of course, joining us with Benjamin out in Avondale, Lusaka. Thank you for being here. Absolutely love it. Thank you for joining us. Indeed, L is for Lusaka. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you. Yes, indeed. Good night out in Taipei. Thank you for being here, though. It's ready to enjoy this story with us before going to bed. Thank you for joining us. To everybody that is joining in, I hope that you have a lovely week. But of course, we have a lovely story today to share today, and of course, many more lovely stories to share the rest of the week. So I hope you do join us for all of them. But for now, before we get started with our story, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be back right after that to get started with our story for today, coming to you from award-winning author Innosanto Nagara, and this one is called A is for Activist. Yes, join in and enjoy, and of course, learn. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Welcome. See you on the other side of this short break. Good morning to you.
Hi, my name's Christine Mitchell-Adams. I'm a mama and an artist, and I believe that books are a great way for children to have access to the arts on an everyday basis, which is why I believe that programs like Storytime with Mr. LaMotta are so important.
Thank you so much, Chrissy, out in Vermont. Thank you for sharing that message. It is indeed important. I know you hold this dearly, that children should have access to the arts, and I'm glad to be playing a small part in that. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, Bolden, good morning to you one more time. A is for Activist. This one coming to you from Innosanto Nagara, written and illustrated by Innosanto Nagara, and we're reading it with permission of 7 Stories Press. Thank you for being here. All right, here we go. It's actually fun to have the teacher-sized book of this one, or the larger book, versus the board book. You can see the difference. But yeah, so it is nice to have this one that I can show you pictures that are a little bit bigger. All right, here we go. A is for Activist, written and illustrated by Innosanto Nagara. And this one being read with permission of 7 Stories Press, and of course, Triangle Square as well. Thank you so much for being here. Here we go. A is for Activist, advocate, abolitionist, ally, actively answering a call to action. Are you an activist? great question to ponder this morning. Are you an activist? A is for activist, advocate, abolitionist, ally, actively answering a call to action. How about B? Well, B is for B. B is for banner, bobbing in the sky, billowing in the breeze, 'cause you're not shy. B is for banner, bobbing in the sky, billowing in the breeze, 'cause you're not shy. How about C? C is for co-op, cooperating cultures, creative counter to corporate vouchers. Creative counter to corporate vouchers. Oh, and cats. Do you like cats? Indy? Can you find the cats? Look for the cats in this book all the way through. Do you see the cat on this page? Yep, right up there. There's our one right there. So look out for those cats all the way. And there's also another friend in there to keep an eye out for. D, little d, democracy. More than voting, you will agree. Dictators detest it. Donkeys don't get it. But you and me, we demand equality. Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do indeed. Little d, democracy. More than voting, you will agree. Dictators detest it. Donkeys don't get it. But you and me, we demand equality. Yes, we do. Equal rights. Black, brown, or white. Clean and healthy is a right. Every place we live and play, environmental justice is the way. Oh, yes, indeed. You and me, well, we demand equality. Equal rights. Black, brown, or white. Clean and healthy is a right. Every place we live and play, environmental justice is the way. F is for feminist. It is indeed. For fairness in pay. Very important. For freedom to flourish and choose our own way. It is. F is for feminist. For fairness in pay. For freedom to flourish and choose our own way. G is for grassroots. Sprouting from below, sharing nutrients and the waters flow. Below the surface, we are connected. Stronger together, we grow. And a good example of grassroots growing this past few months has been the Amazon workers unionizing in New Jersey. That was just powerful. Shows you the power of building from the grassroots, from building from below. G is for grassroots, sprouting from below, sharing nutrients and the waters flow. Below the surface, we are connected. We are all connected. Stronger together, we grow. Oh, yes. H is for healthy food, a human right. Honeydew, jicama, nature's delight. Hummus, hot dogs, Havarti cheese. Hot dogs? Yes, healthy hot dogs, please. And pizza. Oh, yes, indeed. H is for healthy food. And you know, we hope that every neighborhood can have a grocery store, can have access to some healthy food options, right? Yeah. I indigenous and immigrant. Together we stand tall. Our histories are relevant. An injury to one is an injury to all. So true. I, indigenous and immigrant. Together we stand tall. Our histories are relevant. An injury to one is an injury to all. How about J? J is for justice. Yes. J is for justice. Yay for justice. Jiang Jing Jiang. Juanita, Jamal. Justice for the janitors. Justicia for all. Yes, indeed. Justicia for all. Okay. Well, kings are fine for story time. Knights are fun to play. But when we make decisions, we will choose the people's way. Oh, yes. Always. Do you see the cats on this page? Kings are fine for story time. Oh, yes. They do make a fine story, don't they? Knights are fun to play. But when we make decisions, we will choose the people's way. Oh, yes. No other way, indeed. L, LGBTQ plus now. Love who you choose, because love is true. Liberate your notions of limited emotions. Celebrate with pride our links of devotion. LGBTQ. Love who you choose, because love is true. Liberate your notions of limited emotions. Oh, yes. Emancipate your mind, right? As Bob Marley says. Celebrate with pride our links of devotion. Emancipate yourself. All right. M is for megaphones. Yes, make those voices louder. Megaphones marching. Movimiento music. Hip hop. Hooray! It must be May Day. It must be May Day indeed. Yes, make your voices heard. Turn up. Megaphones marching. Movimiento music. Hip hop, hooray! It must be May Day. Oh. N is for no. No, no, no. Yes to what we want. No to what must go. No, no, no. How about O? Well, open minds operate best. Oh, so true. Critical thinking over tests. Wisdom can't be memorized. Educate, agitate, organize. Yes, indeed. Open minds operate best. Critical thinking over tests. Wisdom can't be memorized. Educate, agitate, organize. Yes, indeed. And you're never too young to start. N is for no. No, no, no. Yes to what we want. No to what must go. No, no, no. Oh. P, 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 peace march. Protest. Power to the people. Yeah. That's what P stands for. And Q? Well, Q is for question. Questioning cohesion. Yes. Querying qualities, counter force assertions. Yes. Ask why. Why? Don't just take everything. Ask why. Get to the bottom of things. Why do we do the things we do? How do they help everybody else? Are they beneficial to the entire community or just a few? A few greedy people benefit. Let's push back. Q is for question, questioning coercion, querying qualities counter false assertions. Oh, yes. Turn up, young people, turn up. Radical Reds, the headline said. Ruinous rioters, the rumors spread. Rabble-rousing riffraff. Really? They will call you all sorts of names when you challenge them, won't they? S is for sun, soul, sala, superstar, stellar power. Fuels all life, not just flowers. Energized homes, cars, and showers. Silly, selfish scoundrels sacking on dinosaur sludge. Boo! Oh, yes, indeed. Boo to that. We need more sustainable resources. More sustainable energy resources. S is for soul, sun, solar, energized homes, cars, and showers. Silly, selfish scoundrels sucking on dinosaur sludge. Boo! Yes. Oh, yes, indeed. T is for trans, for trains, tiaras, tulips, tractors, and tigers too. Trust in the true. The he, she, they, that is you. Oh, yes, indeed. T is for trans, for trains, tiaras, tulips, tractors, and tigers too. Trust in the true. The he, she, they, that is you. U is for weekends. Wait a second. U is for workers' rights. Wait, that's not U. That's W. U is for union. Union, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. Workers represent. V is for Vox. What? Did you say Fox? No, I said Vox. Did you say box? No, Fox. Rocks, blocks, socks, Vox. Oh, Vox of the people, voice of the populi. Better to go see the letter D. Oh, yes, indeed. If you have the book, be sure to go back and check out the letter D. W, well, wondrous world, wondrous we. We cannot be whole, we cannot be free unless we delight in diversity. So true. One more time. Wondrous world, wondrous we. We cannot be whole unless we delight in diversity. We cannot be whole unless we delight in diversity. That's what makes us powerful. That's what makes us beautiful. We cannot be free unless we delight in diversity. X is for Malcolm, as in Malcolm X. History's lessons can be complex. Remember Parks, remember King, remember Malcolm, and let freedom ring. Oh, that is an important part right there. History lessons can be complex. Every past leader brings their personality and did an important job. Sometimes you gotta get up and fight. X is for Malcolm, as in Malcolm X. History's lessons can be complex. Remember Parks, remember King, remember Malcolm, and let freedom ring. Oh, yes, indeed. Y is for you and youth, your planet, your rights, your future, your truth. Y is for yes, 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 yes. Y is for you, young people, for you, the youth, your planet, your rights, your future, your truth. And Z is for Zapatista, of course. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I hope you enjoyed that powerful book indeed. I hope you're inspired today to go out into the world and question those things that are happening. Ask why and see what part we can play indeed. A is for activist. Good baby steps right here, simple steps to beginning your activist journey. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I hope that you enjoyed that one. It is indeed a beautiful one to have on your shelf. And indeed, if you go to the library, please be sure to ask for this book at your local library and get to enjoy it, and indeed get to have those conversations at home that must be had about what activism is, about how we celebrate diversity, about how we participate in our communities, about how we challenge those authorities, people that are making laws that are harmful. How do we challenge? How do we push our governments to make sure that they're bringing in sustainable sources of energy, and indeed making sure that our workers are paid right? Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. So much to talk about, so much that this book opens up. I hope that you enjoy those conversations at home, and indeed that they move you to the next step of turning up and indeed playing our parts in a larger way in our communities. Thank you for being here on Story Time. Always a pleasure. I'm feeling so amped right now. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back after this short break. Join me on the other side as I take a little breath just to calm myself some more.
Hi, my name's Christine Mitchell-Adams. I'm a mama and an artist, and I believe that books are a great way for children to have access to the arts on an everyday basis, which is why I believe that programs like Storytime with Mr. LaMotta are so important.
Welcome back. I am Karma. Thank you, Chrissy, as well, and of course Bolden, and to everybody that was joining in today on Storytime. Yes, just passionate about most of those things, many of these things that are mentioned in the book, and I hope that we reach a day when we're not talking about feminism. We're talking about this. It should be human rights. We should be making sure that everything is in place. Everybody is treated fairly. Everybody is paid accordingly. Everybody, education is funded accordingly, and just so many things that we put them in little blocks. So women's rights, energy, they should all be human rights. Healthcare, everybody should have access to it. And so many things that we lump into small bits, and once one is funded, we think, oh, this is fine. No, it should be everything should be funded accordingly. Workers should be paid what they deserve, not just a few people exploring. Why should somebody be paying 44 billion to acquire a social media platform when there's so many people suffering in the world? I do not get it. Maybe because I don't have that kind of money, but hey, I hope that we continue to push back and continue to question and ask and really, demand what we deserve, demand what is right to the people. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. We could go on this forever, but always a pleasure to see you here with us. And I hope that you enjoyed that wonderful story, one that fires me up. And I hope that it fired you up as well to continue questioning and continue doing what's right in your community. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Tomorrow, we'll go a little lower, a little mellow, as we bring back another favorite, and this one is called It's So Quiet, and Not Quite Going to Bed book. This one coming from Storytime good friend Sherry Daskirinka and Tony Fuchile. Join us for this one tomorrow and get to enjoy It's so quiet. Thank you for being here. Absolutely appreciate you and everyone else that joins into Storytime. Please let your friends know Storytime is here 7 a.m. Pacific time live, and also we are back at 11 a.m. for the recording. But you can always find us on the different platforms. On Instagram, you can find us, or you can follow what's happening with Storytime. But you can also find us on YouTube and Facebook at Storytime with Mr. Limada, or you can go to storytimewithmrlimada.com and find us there as well and get to follow Storytime. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely appreciate you, and a good morning one more time to you. Chrissy, thank you so much for joining in, and of course the powerful message as well. They say thank you for the great reading. Well, you are very welcome. Thank you for being part of this wonderful community that we've built right here on Storytime. Bolden was shocked to see his mom on the screen. Well, thank you, Bolden. Happy to give you a little surprise this morning as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely love it. Thank you. Good morning to you one more time. Miss Ingrid out in Patagonia, Argentina. I say thanks for sharing this book. Amazing. Well, thank you indeed. Absolutely appreciate you, and I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day, rest of your afternoon out there in Patagonia, Argentina. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Really hope the world can be more friendly to all man. Yes, to all humans, to all beings. Thank you so much for sharing that. Kazadan Smile, appreciate it. Thank you so much. And of course, wishing you a good night out there in Taipei, Taiwan. Thank you so much for joining us today. To everybody that was joining in Storytime, Sarah and Nathan, Amanda, and of course, Indy and Sparky. Thank you for joining us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Jamie, sending you some love as well. Thank you for being here. Baby Bia, good morning to you one more time out in Seattle, where it is very cloudy today. Thank you for being here. Absolutely appreciate you. And of course, Jessica and Ali Amin in Washington, sending you much love as well. Thank you for being here, and I hope you continue to enjoy those leftovers from Eid. Enjoy them. Thank you for being here on Storytime. And indeed, thank you. I hope you've been left rejuvenated, your faith rejuvenated after Ramadan, and then of course Eid. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope that you have a lovely rest of the day. Pamela Courtney, how are you doing today? One more time. And of course, Braylon and Chad in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. I hope you enjoyed that. And also, just so you know, Pamela Courtney, guess who I met up with out here in Oakland? It was super awesome. I'll see if I can get that picture up tomorrow and share with you. But indeed, got to see a very good friend out here. Marietta was out here in California. It was super sweet to meet, and of course to meet in person and talk life. Thank you so much for joining in. This has been Storytime for today. Always a pleasure to be here with you all, and indeed to just remind each other of the parts that we play in this world, and indeed to continue demanding what's right from our leaders, and continuing to demand what's right for our future, for our children, and for everybody else. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again tomorrow when we're back for It's So Quiet. This one coming to you from Sherry Dusky Rinker, and of course Tony Fuchile. Much love from me. I will see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. As for now, A is for activists. We continue to fight. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Storytime with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Storytime with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? we just can't wait to be hearing. Where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing.